When I step into a classroom like mine or into any well-functioning Montessori elementary classroom, to me what it often feels like is an open plan office in which adults might work. It's just this real beehive of activity. People are having brief conversations with each other and then passing by, and they're collaborating with each other. You might have one group of children working on mathematics, another group of children working on grammar, another group of children researching something online, another group of children doing some sort of history project. And at any given moment, that tapestry of work is constantly evolving. I think the reason we view the arts as being so important goes back to our view of what education consists of in the first place. And for us, it's so much more than academics. It's about the whole child's development. And within that, you have intellectual development, which academic development is just a small portion of in the first place. But then beyond that, you have social development, you have creative development, you have moral development, and the arts tap into those other areas in all sorts of different ways. And so we view the arts as being of equal rank to traditional academic subjects. They're all equally valid human pursuits. Traditionally, Montessori teachers aren't called teachers, they're called guides, and I think that's pretty instructive. Our task isn't so much to teach the children in the traditional sense as it is to guide them through the process of learning things for themselves. The idea is that the best way for the children to learn is through each other. And one of the reasons for that is that if I'm a child being taught by another child, they're much closer to each other developmentally. They can understand each other a lot better than they can a 30-year-old man. And so by having the mixed age classroom, we can have situations where a 9-year-old is teaching something to a 6-year-old. One of the best ways to learn something is to have to teach it to somebody else. And so that's another benefit that comes with the older children teaching the younger children. Also, the older children can act as leaders in the classroom. They can take on all sorts of more advanced responsibilities and model that to the younger children. I think the way in which we try to frame work and the way in which we talk about work is one of the central things that sets us apart from traditional education. And I think the best example of what I have in mind here comes with mathematics work. I ask the children to come up with their own problems. If they need help with doing that, I provide that help, and we talk about how they can create their problems, but ultimately I'm asking them to come up with their own problems. It's encouraging independence. And more importantly, if I'm always receiving work from the teacher or from a worksheet, I start to think of work more and more as this external burden that's placed upon me. There's a better, more healthy, more, in my view, natural way of looking at work, which is that work is something that I pursue for myself in order to develop, in order to pursue my interests, in order to grow. And so by having the children create work for themselves, we're trying to cultivate that healthier attitude and conception of work. And that's when we see the children thriving the most in this environment, is when they're pursuing work that they're generating for themselves. I will give a lesson to a group of children, and at the very end of the lesson, we'll discuss what sort of follow-up work could they do. And then we'll discuss, okay, when can we meet next so that we can look over the work that you did and see if you're ready for the next lesson, if it's a series of lessons. And we'll make an agreement. Let's say we'll meet next Friday. At the end of that, set up another meeting, and just sort of keeps progressing like that. If you're a student in our environment, you have to think for yourself. You have to plan your own day. You don't have somebody doing that for you. But developing that skill means actually acquiring it and not simply having somebody fill in the gaps for you by doing everything for you and telling you what to do. It's about learning how to make choices, learning how to make decisions, learning how to plan. I think that's one of my other main roles in the classroom, is helping the children to develop those skills and become comfortable with navigating those challenges. We really do view our classroom as being more than just a traditional classroom. We view it as being a learning community. And if we're trying to emphasize the whole child development, part of which includes social development, part of which includes becoming more and more independent, then the children, as they grow up, have to become increasingly capable of governing themselves. I, as a teacher, set very high expectations in terms of the children conducting themselves in a mature, respectful manner. If the expectations are being met, I'm extremely casual with the children. We joke around a lot, we talk to each other as actual human beings, and have hopefully a productive time in the classroom, but also an enjoyable experience together.